The sirens had already faded when Officer Daniel Reyes realized the silence was worse. Not the calm kind, but the heavy, breath-holding quiet that settles after something has gone terribly wrong. His canine partner, Atlas, lay motionless on the cold pavement beside the patrol car. His broad chest rising in shallow, uneven breaths. Atlas had always been unstoppable, trained, disciplined, fearless. But now his amber eyes were dull, unfocused, as if he were staring past the world instead of at it. Daniel dropped to his knees without thinking, his gloved hands shaking as he pressed them gently against Atlas's fur. Blood darkened the tan and black coat near his shoulder, and the smell of smoke and rain mixed in the air. Medics rushed around them, voices urgent, equipment clattering, but Atlas didn't react. No twitch of an ear, no attempt to lift his head. It was as if the bond that had always connected them through training fields, night patrols, and dangerous calls had suddenly gone quiet. "Atlas, buddy," Daniel whispered, his voice cracking. "Stay with me. You hear me? Stay." The canine had been injured during a warehouse search gone wrong. A suspect fleeing in the dark, a sudden crash, chaos erupting in seconds. Atlas had done what he was trained to do: protect, pursue, put himself between danger and the people he served. Now he lay there, refusing treatment, muscles tense, jaw clenched, growling faintly whenever anyone but Daniel came too close. The medics exchanged worried looks. One of them leaned in and spoke softly. "Officer, we need him calm. He's not letting us help." Daniel nodded, though his mind was racing. Atlas had always trusted him, but even Daniel's voice seemed to barely reach him now. The canine's breathing grew more labored, each breath a fragile thing that felt like it could disappear at any moment. A small crowd had gathered behind the yellow tape. Store owners, neighbors, a few late-night shoppers who had witnessed the flashing lights and sirens. Among them was a little girl, no more than 7 years old, clutching a worn pink jacket around herself. Her dark hair was pulled into uneven pigtails, and her wide eyes never left Atlas. She tugged on the sleeve of the woman beside her, her mother, whispering urgently. The woman shook her head at first, then glanced toward the scene, concern written across her face. The girl tugged again, more insistently this time. Daniel barely noticed them at first. His entire world had narrowed to the steady rise and fall of Atlas's chest. Memories flooded his mind without permission. Atlas as a clumsy pup at the training center, tripping over his own paws. Atlas earning his badge after months of hard work. Atlas curled up beside Daniel's boots at the end of long shifts. They were more than partners. They were family. "Officer Reyes," one of the medics said carefully, "if we can't sedate him, we're going to lose precious time." Daniel swallowed hard. "Do what you can," he said, even as his heart screamed at the thought of needles and restraints frightening Atlas further. Before the medic could respond, a small voice cut through the tension. "Wait!" Everyone turned. The little girl had slipped under the tape before anyone could stop her. She stood a few feet away, her sneakers soaked from the rain, her hands trembling at her sides. Daniel's first instinct was to tell her to step back, to keep her safe. But there was something in her expression, something calm and certain, that made him pause. "My name is Lily," she said softly, looking not at Daniel, but at Atlas. "He knows me." Daniel frowned. "I'm sorry, sweetie, but you need to—" "I know his code," Lily interrupted, her voice barely above a whisper. The medics froze. The officers nearby exchanged confused glances. What code? Daniel asked, though part of him already knew what she meant. Lily took a cautious step closer, stopping when Atlas's ear twitched faintly. She swallowed, then spoke again, slower this time, as if choosing each word with care. Blue 3, stand down. Good boy. The words were simple, but the effect was immediate. Atlas's head shifted slightly. His growl faded into a low, uncertain whine. His breathing steadied, just a little. Daniel's heart lurched. That phrase, Blue 3, was Atlas's unit designation, used only during specialized training and high-risk operations. It wasn't public knowledge. It wasn't something a random child should know. How do you know that? Daniel asked, his voice hoarse. Lily knelt carefully on the wet ground, keeping her movements slow and respectful. My dad used to say it to him, she said, all the time. The words hit Daniel like a punch to the chest. Her father. Suddenly, memory snapped into place. Another officer. Another partner. A man who had trained Atlas during his early years, before transferring units. A man who never came home one night after a call that went bad. Daniel looked at Lily's mother, who nodded quietly, tears slipping down her cheeks. Atlas's former handler had been killed in the line of duty 2 years earlier. Lily leaned closer, her small hand hovering near Atlas's muzzle, without touching him. It's okay, she whispered. You're safe now. You can rest. Atlas's tense body softened, his jaw unclenched. He let out a long, shuddering breath, as if releasing pain he'd been holding on to for far too long. Now, Lily said, glancing up at the medics, you can help him. No one moved for a second. Then the lead medic stepped forward, his voice thick with emotion. She's right. They worked quickly but gently, administering treatment, while Lily continued to murmur quiet reassurances, repeating the code her father had once used. Atlas didn't resist. His eyes stayed half-closed, focused on the sound of her voice. Daniel watched in awe, his fear slowly giving way to something else. Hope. As Atlas was lifted onto the stretcher, Lily finally reached out and placed her hand on his fur. Be strong, she said. You always are. The ambulance doors closed, sirens starting up again, as Atlas was rushed to the veterinary emergency unit. Daniel stood there, rain dripping from his hair, feeling like he'd just witnessed something extraordinary. Later that night, in the quiet of the hospital waiting room, Daniel sat beside Lily and her mother. The girl swung her legs gently, sipping from a paper cup of hot chocolate someone had brought her. He used to bring Atlas to our house, Lily said casually, as if talking about a favorite toy. After my dad died, Atlas stopped coming, but I still remembered his words. Daniel nodded, his throat tight. Your dad loved that dog, he said softly, and Atlas loved him. Lily smiled, a small, brave smile. I think he remembered. Hours passed. The ticking of the clock felt unbearably loud. Finally, a veterinarian emerged, her face tired but hopeful. He's stable, she said. It was close, but he's going to make it. Daniel exhaled a breath he felt like he'd been holding all his life. Lily clapped her hands softly, eyes shining. In the weeks that followed, Atlas recovered slowly, each day a little stronger than the last. Daniel visited him daily, but so did Lily. She would sit on the floor beside his kennel, reading him stories, or simply talking about her day. Atlas listened, tail thumping weakly, eyes brightening whenever she spoke. Something had changed in all of them. Daniel realized that bravery didn't always look like charging into danger. Sometimes it looked like a little girl stepping forward when everyone else was afraid. Sometimes it sounded like a whispered code, carried across time by love and memory. When Atlas finally returned to duty, there was a small ceremony. Officers applauded, cameras flashed, and Lily stood proudly at Daniel's side. Atlas sat tall, his badge gleaming, his gaze calm and confident once more. Daniel knelt beside Lily and spoke quietly. "You saved him." Lily shook her head. "No," she said. "He saved my dad. I just helped him remember." As Atlas placed his paw gently on Lily's hand, Daniel felt a warmth spread through his chest. In a world that often seemed divided and harsh, this moment was a reminder of something deeply human. That kindness can come from anywhere. That compassion has the power to heal even the deepest wounds. And that love, once given, never truly disappears. And sometimes, when all seems lost, hope arrives in the smallest voice, whispering exactly what the heart needs to hear.